Well, Mr. Speaker, here we go again. This time in Guelph, police warned the community of a high-risk offender with a history of violence and breaching court orders was released after pleading guilty to breaching probation. Wow. Police said he posed a danger, especially to women, but less than 2 hours later, he was arrested again. Wow. This is weak Liberal bail law in action. Once again, the Liberals' principle of restraint put a dangerous offender back on the street. Will the Prime Minister finally take public safety seriously and repeal C5 and 75?
Good question.
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to look at what's in front of us right now as we speak, Mr. Speaker. We have a number of very important legislation that will address just the issue that my friend opposite brought forward. There's Bill C-12 that's going through the Senate, Mr. Speaker. There's Bill C-9. There's Bill C-14, which speaks to bail reform as well as ensuring that there's consecutive sentencing, and there's also Bill C-16. Again, I ask the members opposite to pass this legislation and make sure this becomes law.
Yeah.
The Honourable Member for Brantford, Brant South, Six Nations.
Mr. Speaker, this dangerous release happened for only one reason. Liberal soft on crime laws are still on the books, and this government refuses to repeal them.
True.
Time after time, Liberal laws put repeat violent offenders back on the street, ignore police warnings, and put Canadians in harm's way. Conservatives, on the other hand, are ready to work with anyone in this House to put public safety first and end these dangerous policies.
100%.
Will the Prime Minister finally get serious about public safety and work with us to repeal these laws, yes or no?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Dangerous people who commit serious crimes should not be allowed to roam freely in our streets where they can reoffend. Now, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister can start again.
Mr. Speaker, they're going to regret their applause in a moment, I can assure you. And it's because when the member posed the question, he blamed the principle of restraint. Let me tell you something about the principle of restraint. That is the subject of a change in Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, that the Conservatives have been obstructing for months. Despite calls from law enforcement, from provincial governments, from municipalities, from experts in their field, they have been getting in the way.
This is supposed to be an exchange of ideas. The minister may continue with his answer.
Mr. Speaker, after months and months of obstructing bail reform in this country, we've finally seen a spirit of collaboration. My only hope is a spirit that their leader seemed to embody during his opening remarks at this session will be what carries the day instead of the nonsense we're seeing today on the House.
The Honourable Member for Central Newfoundland.
On January 27th, Charlottetown police responded to a violent home invasion involving assault, an imitation firearm, and chemical irritant. 2 individuals known to the victims were arrested. One of the accused is facing multiple charges, including, with no surprise, failure to comply with conditions of release and probation. Wow. The Liberal soft on crime principle of restraint continues to put dangerous offenders back on the street. So will this government repeal C5 and C75 so that Canadians can once again feel safe in their home?
The Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, since taking government, we've had a tough on-crime agenda.
Right.
We have 6 different bills going through this House right now that are all tackling the situations that the member has been mentioning. It's been 8 months since we put in place C2, and we've been waiting on the Conservatives for their cooperation to pass lawful access measures, which would help police in their investigations. We've been asking for help on cracking down on fentanyl, Mr. Speaker, and tackling organized crime. But they've been stalling and they've been obstructing all along. I hope they'll get on board and work with us.
The Honourable Member for Vaughan Woodbridge.
Last week, a man in Woodbridge was gunned down in broad daylight.
This week, a home in Vaughan was targeted for a shooting for the 4th time in 5 months. Now, the York Region Police Chief has said they will not participate in the federal Liberal government's gun grab because it does not address the underlying sources of gun crime.
Right.
Most provinces and territories have opted out. Dozens of police services have now refused to participate. So, with little support from the police and provinces, will the Liberal government finally end this ideologically driven scheme and focus on stopping illegal guns and repeat violent offenders?
Good question. The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, last week when the Prime Minister met with First Ministers across Canada, all 13 of them unanimously asked for this House to pass Bill C-14, Mr. Speaker. The party opposite is talking about tough on crime, but they refuse to pass the legislation that's required for bail reform. That's going to make consecutive sentences. That's going to ensure the safety and security of Canadians, Mr. Speaker. Enough talk and we need action, Mr. Speaker. I urge the party opposite to pass Bill C-14.
Honourable Member for Long Range Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, while violent crime and extortion continue to rise across Canada, this government keeps targeting law-abiding Canadians instead of criminals. Most provinces and territories have told the government they will not participate in the Liberal gun buyback. In Newfoundland and Labrador, the Premier has been clear. The Liberals, and I quote, should focus on criminals, not law-abiding hunters and our way of life. Dozens of police services have said they will not help carry out this program. Even the minister responsible admitted in private this was a bad idea. Will the Liberals end this wasteful scheme, stop the gun grab that punishes law-abiding Canadians?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, like I said before, when it comes to food inflation as well, responsible governments do more. That is why we're also seeing an uptake and people wanting to surrender their prohibited weapons. Over 22,000 people have signed up to get their guns out of our communities. That's progress, Mr. Speaker, but also, in addition to that, we've put major investments into our borders to catch illegal guns and get them off our streets. We've also put forward measures in our legislation to help the police catch criminals and help them with their investigations. But the Conservatives have been obstructing all of those measures, Mr. Speaker. I'd ask them to allow C2 to come to a vote.